Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming today with another episode of Walking the Path of the Shaman. And this episode is all about service. So understanding the difference between self-service or selfish service and selfless service. And you know, throughout my experience and throughout my understanding, a lot of what I was taught was about selfless service, which I've come to find is the wrong way to go about service, especially for me, because it's sort of, there's a big difference between serving others because it's what gives me joy and it's what makes me happy, and serving others because I think that it's going to give me something or it's going to make me look better, you know, false virtue. So it's very important to sort of understand this concept where when we're serving ourselves, when we're serving God, when we're serving others, when we're serving our community, it's not about how it looks to other people. We're not serving them for, you know, the virtue that we're going to look like a virtuous person and all of this. So like, for example, a lot of people in religion, they serve God because they want a one-way ticket to fucking heaven. And that's the wrong way. So to understand this is just to understand that if I serve God, it's not because of what I'm going to get out of it. It's not because I'm going to, you know, be a pious person who gets into heaven and that's my ticket into heaven. Like, heaven is on earth. So serving God is serving that aspect of me that gives me that feeling of connection and divinity to all that is around me. So selfish service is very different to selfless service, and it's not that we serve ourselves at the expense of other people. That is not the selfish I'm talking about. I'm not talking about self-centered service where I only think about serving myself and my interests and my needs. It's an idea of that I need to serve myself, my community, those around me, my God, for me, because it's what makes me feel better within myself and within my day and my week and my month and my year. So to understand this is just to understand that when I serve God, I'm not serving God so that I may feel better about myself or about my position in this world or about my position in the afterlife. It's that I serve God because it's my mission in life. It's my calling. It's how I worship God within myself. And that's very important, because selfless service has rules about how you must serve those around you, how you must blah, blah, blah. Whereas when we selfishly serve, that's me saying, this is how I am serving God. This is how I am serving those around me and my community. And it's very, very important, because all the bullshit rules that everyone's going to tell you about how to do it and this and that, it's all just made up bullshit. The same as religion. You know, don't get me wrong, the Bible has many very valuable lessons and teachings within it, but those who say that the Bible is how you worship God are full of fucking shit. Flat and simple. All those that say that, you know, you must worship Jesus over yourself to worship God. We are all the sons and daughters of God. Therefore we are God. For me to worship myself as God is not blasphemy. Like, does that make sense? It's not blasphemy for me to choose how I worship God, to choose how I live up to or how I connect to God. Like, that's the key to selfish service, is that when I serve my family, I'm not serving them based on rules or these judgments or these thoughts about how we have to serve our family. It's how I want to show up every day, how I want to serve. When I serve my community, I'm not serving them based on what some dickhead at the fucking university is saying is the way to do social work. Do you sort of get it? Like, I'm not basing it off what the government says social work is or what some Marxist says socialism is. I'm basing it off how I want to show up for those around me, how I want to show up for the community, how I want to personally give back from myself to those around me and to the community around me. And that's an important thing, because there aren't any rules or regulations or, any arbitrary judgments of what service looks like. We all get to selfishly decide how we want to serve in life. And to all those who try to say that, there's only one way to do it, just know they're full of shit. They've always been full of shit. Those pious religious people that bang on about how all you need in life is Jesus have never experienced a conversation with God. They only know God through the Bible. And that's a very different thing. To experience God and know God compared to knowing religious texts, knowing the stories of the Bible and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the difference between spirituality and religion. Religion is understanding the man-made ways of worship, and spirituality is understanding the personal connection to God and how to personally worship God. However you see God, whatever your depiction of God is your depiction of God. To me, my God is Sununon. Sununon is the horned god of the Celtic people. And to all those that say that is blasphemy, as I've said many times to God, strike me down if what I say is blasphemy, yet here I stand. Does that sort of make sense? Like, I'm not afraid of these bullshit, arbitrary beliefs that many hold about what is right and what is wrong, because the majority of these pious people are false virtue. They're fake virtuous people who are only virtuous because of what it's going to give them, what they're going to get out of it. They don't do it because they believe intrinsically in the value of it. They do it because they believe that they're going to get something out of it. And that's not a good way to live, because that is a way of disconnection, of never truly being connected to life, to the universe, to God. And it's very important for us all in this lifetime to find and experience and create our own personal connection to life, to nature, to God, to community, to others around us, rather than one. So when thinking about serving yourself or serving other people or serving life, serving God, whatever it may be, it's not about what you will get externally from it that you focus on. It's not about how it should look. It's about why are you doing it? Like, is it something that fulfills you within? Because that's the important thing about service is something that we do to give back. So when we selfishly serve ourselves, others, God, life, the community, all those around us, it's important that we do it from a place where we are focused in on what it means to us and doing it in a way that is authentic to us. So we're not doing it because of how it looks. So when we, for example, when we're walking down the street and we feel a need to say hello to someone, or we want to say hello to someone, it's not because it makes us look like a kinder person or a more friendly person. We do it because that is who we are. And it's very important in life to understand this idea of what we do in life, what we are doing in life, all of our actions and our behaviors are not because of other people. They're not to influence other people, but they're because it is a way of living for us. It is who we are. So it's very important when serving others that we are not serving from a place of trying to help others, but we're serving from a place of being of service to others. So, for example, when we serve God in life, our God, we are serving like how we can, how we want to. We are just being of service to God. We are not serving God in servitude. And that's a funny thing, because religion will always tell you that you must be a servant to God, which is very, very ridiculous of a concept, because if you want to live your life as a servant, by all means, you can live below everyone else. But I do not choose to live that way. And that's the difference, is we serve from a position of power, because serving others is not being below them, but it's showing strength to them. So it's very important for this concept of selfish service that when, you know, for example, for me in my life and my business, I don't serve other people for the money that I can get, for the fame that I can get, for this, for that. It's because that's who I want to be. I want to be someone of service, someone who serves other people, opposed to just serving myself. But I serve other people through serving myself. And it's very important when we think about this idea of serving others through serving ourselves, that we selfishly, you know, because when I serve other people, it empowers me and it gives me sense of gratification and gratitude and happiness and joy. Like, I'm not serving other people because I'm going to get something from them. I serve other people because it gives me within myself so much more than any other could ever give me. And it's sort of like, when we understand this and have this concept and this mindset, it shifts and alters our behaviors and the reasons and the justifications behind our behaviors. For example, I serve God in everything that I do. That is my mission in life. And it's sort of like, it empowers me because it gives meaning behind all of my actions. Not meaning externally, but meaning internally, to why I do things, to why I'm doing things, to why I take decisions and actions. Because in life there is nothing in the external, it is all internal. And when we think about For example, life in the external, we're thinking about life in material, of what I can gain from it. If I serve other people, they will give me money. If I serve other people, my reputation will increase and all of this. But it's the internal reputation within ourselves, with ourselves, that is important. The knowing of who we are, the knowing of what we do and why we do it. And that's very important, because a lot of people in life only take action because of how it will make them look, because of what it will get them. And that's the wrong way, because that leads to living a life that is external to who you are, not collaborative or not in connection with who you are. And when we focus more on living an authentic life, it's in no way does it matter what anyone else thinks of us. In no way does it matter how others view us. And that's an important thing when we live our life externally, focused on how others perceive us and how others view us and what others are thinking of us. We cease to live as our authentic self. So to live as our authentic self, we must be disconnected from the external in all actions. So we don't take actions because of how it will make us look or because of how others will perceive those actions. We take actions for how we perceive those actions, how we perceive ourselves. So we don't help someone just because it looks good. We help someone because we would want to be helped, or because we want to help them. And that's very important, because when we can do that, we can become and start becoming more authentic within ourselves and within our day and within our actions. Because a lot of people in life have this belief that, and you see it throughout everything, it's very, very prevalent, for example, in employment. You take employment where employers want to check references to validate who you are. And that's a funny thing, because they validate who you are based on what other people say about you and how other people perceive you. Does that sort of make sense? Like, this is how we structure our society, to where how you perceive yourself and what you say about yourself is of less value than what other people, how other people perceive you and what other people say about you, as if other people have this authentic truth and your truth is meaningless. And that's the difference between authenticity and inauthenticity. When we're inauthentic, we are more concerned about trying to shift and change the perceptions of other people so that we may create a picture of who we are based on shifting and changing our perception of ourselves so that we may truly understand who we are. So when in life you're presented with a situation where you view your actions based on how other people are going to perceive them, just know that's inauthentic. When you view your actions based on how you are going to perceive them, that's when you're being authentic. And the only way to become authentic in life is to forego the care for what others perceive of you and how others perceive you and what others think. Because the funny thing in life is that I've found is 90% of people in life are full of fucking shit and they fucking lie through their teeth. And they may not lie directly, they indirectly lie. They create illusions about who they are, and then they try and force you to live in the illusions, because to live in the truth breaks their illusions. And one of the big ones is this idea of self-sacrifice, of selflessness. Selflessness means that you put yourself at the bottom, where you do not consider yourself. And that's the wrong way to do it. If we think about an analogy that we're on a plane and the plane cabin loses oxygen, the idea of selflessness is that we make sure everyone's oxygen mask is on before we consider putting our own oxygen mask on. And why do we do that? In the hopes that someone else is going to put an oxygen mask on us and save us. Do you sort of see? It's a victim mindset. It's a mindset where we are not actually taking charge and taking responsibility for the situation. To take responsibility for the situation is that we secure ourselves and then we secure other people. And that's an important thing, because a lot in life, people go around and they act like this where it's wrong for you to secure yourself before helping other people. And I've been a victim to this mindset for many years. And the important thing to understand is that through securing yourself, you demonstrate to other people how to secure themselves. Through this idea of selflessness, all we do is perpetuate like inability to take responsibility for oneself. And that's an important thing, because to teach others strength in your immediate surroundings, those around you, in your community, in life, you must show people how to take care of themselves and then take care of other people. If all we ever do is focus on taking care of other people at the expense of ourselves, we will always end up in a situation where we cannot sustain ourselves. So if we think about it like this, if we were in business and it costs us $5 for a product and we sell it at $4.99, at a certain point in time, like the money runs out, we're always in a negative, we're always in a deficit. So when you think about selfless service, it's putting yourself into a deficit to be of service to other people, which is a non-sustainable way to serve those around you. And it teaches those around you how to serve in a non-sustainable way. When we think about selfish service, we're talking about a sustainable service where we're making sure that we are and have the capacity to continue on serving. And we teach others how to gain that capacity to keep serving. And it's very, very important, because society has taught us throughout life, throughout schooling, throughout everything, to put others' needs before our own. That's virtuous. That's not virtuous. That just teaches weakness. That just teaches needing to be a part of society so that other people can fill you up and give you what you're losing. Self-sufficiency is about making sure that you've covered your bases before serving other people, so that you make sure that you are in a position to be able to serve and you have the strength and the resources to continue serving. So when we think about this in context of business, it's not about setting up a business to generate money and to keep, generating profits. Like, money isn't the goal of the business. The goal of the business is service, but we have to make sure that it's a sustainable business, because if we don't have a sustainable business, we're always going to go broke. We're always going to go bankrupt. And that's very important, because a lot of businesses are set up that way, or they're set up the opposite way, where we have this idea that I need to be focused 100% on money so that I can serve. And that's not the right way either. That's the self-centered way, that I need this to be able to do this for you. Like, selfish service, especially in business, is saying, I'm willing to serve you, but I have to make sure that I'm covering my bases to be able to serve you. Service is key, not the money. So when we're going into business, it's not that I'm only going to help you if you pay me. It's that you need to pay me, and I'm going to give you everything that I can. So I'm going to give you full capacity. So if we think about it in terms of, and stay on in terms of business, it's this idea of like hourly rate. So if we're doing consultations, I'm going to charge you $100 an hour for the consultation. Whereas we're not focused on the consultation now, we're focused on the hourly rate. If this goes to an hour and a half, I have to charge you this. Whereas if we think about it in terms of selfish service, it would be, this is how much I'm going to charge to serve you. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it doesn't matter what it takes. I'm charging this, and the focus is the service of what I'm doing for you. So it's a slight perspective shift in terms of where we're not focused on the money, but we make sure that we're charging at a rate that is sustainable for us, whatever it may be. And then our only goal in the consultation is the service. It's not the cost for the service, it's the service provided, the service obtained, the service gained. Does that make sense? So it's very, very important in anything that we do in life that we're living for us, that we're doing it for us, whatever it may be. We're not living a life that we think other people are going to be jealous by and other people are going to be impressed by. We're living a life that causes us to be impressed by it, that impresses us, because that's what gives us more in life. Does that sort of make sense? Like, we're not going into a relationship that we think other people want. We're going into a relationship that we want. We're not being the ideal parent so that, like, we can create this illusion of this ideal nucleus family. We are becoming the ideal parent that we want to be. And it's very important, because the more we focus on being and doing and our actions reflecting who we are, the more authentic we become. The more we reject the beliefs and the arbitrary viewpoints of others, the more authentic we can become. Authenticity starts with valuing self over others. Not self-centered valuing at the expense of others, but just valuing who we are over how others perceive us. Alright, I hope you enjoy this one, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.